Can't he take her? He's still at the archives, finishing a report for Governor Hawk. Sparrow crinkles her nose at the mention of Governor Hawk, and I shiver in response. Neither of us are fans. He has a way of lurking around corners and appearing out of thin air. I've always imagined he's hollow inside. Like if he ever took off his robes, you'd find out he's just a head hanging on a long hook. One time, when Ruby and I were Sparrow's age, we set up a pretend school outside with our dolls. He stood across the street and watched for so long we ended up going back inside. When I complained to Da and Mam, they said he didn't have a family of his own and was just lonely, that he enjoyed watching us play. But it felt like he was waiting to catch us breaking a rule so he could tell Ruby's parents that I was a bad influence. He's never liked me for some reason. Or my family, come to think of it. It's nothing I can put my finger on, but it's like there's some weird history there. "Please, please, please, will you take me out? Just for 10 minutes?" Sparrow pleads. "I'll do whatever you say." I smile down at Sparrow. I knew the minute I walked inside that I'd take her out to see the fixers at work. After all, it's not every day they repair the part of the sky that almost killed you. Okay, come on. I'll stand out there with you for a few minutes if you promise not to touch anything and not to ask the fixers any questions. Sparrow squirms with excitement and slips on her walking shoes. I take her hand and we ease ourselves through the front door. Then we join the growing crowd on the opposite side of the street to watch the fixers repair the sky. Sparrow manages to stay in one spot, but she doesn't stop talking. "Mam told me there was a time when people lived in a limitless world. It was before she was born, though. It was before her grandmam was born, even before her grandmam's grandmam was born. The sky went on forever, she says, and it was blue just like our sky, but it didn't stop. Mam says back then you could throw a ball as high as you wanted, and it didn't bounce back." I know exactly what Mam has been telling Sparrow. She told me the same creationist stories at bedtime when I was little. I used to believe Mam's stories, but now I know they are exactly that. Stories, like the fairy tales our ancestors brought with them to ArHK. Mam says the outer edges went on forever, too. I don't know how that could be, though. Nothing goes on forever, Sparrow muses as she watches the fixers smearing blue plaster flecks over the hole in the sky, hiding the dull gray subsurface. "What about time?" I suggest. "Time goes on forever." Sparrow thinks for a moment, then says brightly, "I guess you're right." Did Da ever tell you how water used to fall from the sky, back when it used to be limitless? The outsiders called it rain, and sometimes frozen water fell that they called snow, I say. "Would it hurt when the rain fell from the sky? The way it hurt when the sky fell on me? Did the fixers have to come and repair the sky after the rain fell?" Sparrow asks. "I don't know. You'll have to ask Da when he gets home." "We sure are lucky to live in ArHK, aren't we, Rook? We're lucky to be descendants of the chosen ones." Sparrow smiles up at me and I squeeze her hand. "We're very lucky," I say, even though I'm not as convinced as I used to be. When I was little, like Sparrow, I thought everything was an adventure. I loved going to Central Park to play on the grass and throw stones in the ponds. I loved going on the thrill rides and running along the paths through the trees. Mostly these days, though, I feel restless. I want to see something new, or go somewhere new, or discover one new thing. But there's never anything new in ArHK. I'm ashamed to feel this way when I know I should be grateful, but Mam and Da tell me not to worry. They say it's a normal phase for someone my age and that they both went through the same thing. "Da, look! They're fixing the sky finally!" Sparrow calls out when she sees him round the corner and head toward us. I cringe when she says finally. The fixers might think we're ungrateful. "Well, look at that," Da says when he joins us on the far side of the street. "They are fixing the sky." He leans down to give Sparrow a kiss. He doesn't lean forward to give me a kiss, but I'm sure he would if I let him. Instead, I step back and he takes the hint. He turns to watch the fixers. "Da, in the outside, after the rain fell, did the fixers have to repair the sky?" Sparrow asks. "I don't think so. I think back then the sky repaired itself." Da gives me a question.